to us. Welcome to Speak for Yourself. I don't know who Joy is, but that was funny. I'm Marcel Swiley. That's Emmanuel Acho.
Dog.
You finished?
I only needed half an outfit to outdress you today, sir.
Damn. I ain't got to come back to that one. All right, let's get it started with Drew Brees and Tom Brady. They have a big NFC South matchup on Sunday night. The Saints spoiled Brady's Bucs debut back in Week 1, and New Orleans has won 4 straight. On the other side, the Bucs are on a 3-game winning streak and will have a new offensive weapon in Antonio Brown. So, Acho, who's under more pressure Sunday, Brees or the GOAT?
My dog, it's obviously Tom Brady. And
the GOAT?
It's the GOAT. It's the GOAT, Tom Brady, because of just what you said. Because he is the GOAT. You don't look at Tom Brady and Drew Brees in the same light. Not you, the figurative you, the proverbial you.
Okay.
We don't look at Tom Brady and Drew Brees in the same light. Yeah. They're not in the same conversation.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is, like you said, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Drew Brees is an all-time great. And there's a very big difference between being the greatest of all time and being an all-time great. Because we look at Tom Brady as the greatest of all time, he has a higher expectation. He has a higher ceiling. He has more to lose. Drew Brees is a great football player again and one of the greatest in the decade. But Tom Brady is the greatest of the decade.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is the greatest to have ever done it. So when you're talking about who has more pressure, I've told you this before. Pressure to me, Marcellus, is who has more to lose. Expectations minus reality is where you're getting at. That's that disappointment.
Yeah, I like that.
Tom Brady, he has the more expectations. His team should be better. He is better, and he has more right now at stake. Everybody is saying Tom Brady and the Bucs are the best in the NFC. Tom Brady and the Bucs might be the best in the NFL. So if Tom Brady and the Bucs can't beat the Saints, again, mind you, that's a bigger issue. Tom Brady under a lot more pressure than Drew Brees.
No, it's Drew Brees in this situation. One, just because imagine your reality that you are so good. I mean, great. As you said, an all-time great.
All-time.
And you are basically better than anyone else in your era in terms of playing the position. There's an argument for a guy or two, but there's one guy that there's no argument for.
Who that?
And that guy is Tom Brady. There's no argument when you say Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. You're like, damn it. But if you say Drew Brees versus anyone else in this era, including Aaron Rodgers, you got you a strong argument. So imagine if you're Drew Brees in that situation. You're like, I can't beat this guy in anything. I'm trying to go head-to-head with him in terms of passing yards every single week. That changes. And if Drew Brees retires at the end of the year, we know Tom Brady's going to continue to play and pass him up there. What about in passing touchdowns? We go back and forth. Oh, in completions, we go back and forth. I'm trying to get my all-time status solidified. And then Tom Brady has me beaten every single category, including he's the GOAT. Including he has, what, 9 conference championships, 6 Super Bowl rings. I can't compare to any of that. But I got my division. This is my block, homie. You can run the world, but this is my block. Drew Brees' block. And now Tom Brady, in his first year, is on his block and trying to take the block from Drew Brees. Drew Brees is like, hold on, you got all these records, you got all these accolades, and you want my spot? Ooh, Drew Brees is feeling that pressure because if Tom Brady goes out there and wins this game, then we got to get deeper into tiebreakers because they won one each. But then if you look at overall record, Tom Brady's going to have the nod there. So Tom Brady, who has everything at his disposal, the entire world in his hand, is now going to look at Drew Brees, and the only one thing he has, hey, I won my division 6 times in the last 3 years. Tom Brady's like, yeah, that sounds nice because I'm here now. I'm taking your division and your block from you.
I like that take, bro.
Come
but
on,
that take and that logic is exactly why, to me, Tom Brady's under more pressure because Tom Brady, everybody thinks he runs this block. Everybody knows he wants to run the block. But right now, Tom Brady don't run the block. Drew Brees still does. Tom Brady's under the pressure because everybody's looking at you like, hey, Tom, you're supposed to come over and take over. You're supposed to come over and not only run the NFC, at least run a division. If you can't run the division, surely you can't run the NFC. So when I look at it, I'm like, wait a second, Tom, you got all this firepower, but you still can't get past the Saints. Let me talk about this full screen, which I have.
Did you
because
just do that?
Let me talk about the full screen, which I got to show you. Look at the Week 1 difference. Week 1, they only scored 23 points. The Buccaneers lose to the Saints 34-23. But since then, Marcellus, the Buccaneers have outscored their opponents greater than anybody in the NFL.
Yes.
So Week 1, you lose to the Saints. Then you don't lose again until you lose to the Bears on Thursday Night Football, a short weekend. You lose by 1 point. Outside of that, you have outscored everybody. If you come back, Marcellus, and you play the Saints again, the same team which you lost to Week 1, you now play them again and you lose again. That means that you're drastically better than everybody else. except for the Saints. It's a lot of pressure. The last thing I'm going to say is this. Tom Brady's never been swept in his division, ever. Ever been swept in his division by a team.
Like that.
If they lose to the Saints, that's a historical mark, a historical dent on Tom Brady. That's pressure, big dog.
That is pressure, and I'm not going to fight so much at that. But if you still lose to the Saints this week, you can still win this division, which is interesting because the Saints could find themselves losing out in the division because of the win column.
For sure.
Right now, Tom Brady has one advantage in the win column. Like, they play one more game, but that's still one more win in the win column. So we don't know how it's going to play out. But I want to stay focused in on Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. And the fact that Tom Brady is looking at Drew Brees is like, there's only one thing you have, and it's really not that important, except I moved to your block, and now I got to take that from you as well. Tom Brady let Drew Brees live all these years on that block unscathed. I ain't going down there, let you go. Oh, you only got one championship? That's cute. I got 6 of those things, right? Like, think about it. You have the GOAT versus just a great guy. Like, the GOAT. What do you call Drew Brees? We call Tom Brady the GOAT. What do you call Drew Brees? Drew Brees this year has been under...
That's a good point.
Drew Brees has been under more pressure and scrutiny than even Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's in transition to a new team. And the only time you can catch me slipping, Drew Brees, is in week 1. Hey, we playing each other this weekend, and it's not going to be the same because I have now a different
Let me ask you, don't you think, because to me, this is where I fall on the map, is because Tom Brady is the GOAT. Tom Brady 6 Super Bowls to Drew Brees' 1. Tom Brady 9 Super Bowl appearances to Drew Brees' 1, again, if I'm not mistaken. To me, that says Tom Brady has all the pressure because Drew Brees, like you said, he's really good. But when we kick back and think about it, Drew Brees doesn't belong in the same conversation as Tom Brady.
I know.
So Tom Brady doesn't really, like, Drew Brees is sitting here like, I ain't really got nothing to lose because nobody's ever going to view me as Tom Brady.
No, you have everything to gain. It's not about you have nothing to lose. I have everything. I got to close this gap in the ways I can. I talked about it. Passing yards, they're going 1 and 2 all time. Passing touchdowns, 1 and 2 all time. Completions, 1 and 2 all time. Drew Brees is trying to win the barbershop argument in the back because he knows in the front he can't even sit up there with Tom Brady. He's just trying to get something on Tom Brady. And the one thing he had was this division. What can he get? What can he get? He could get this division. And then Tom Brady's like, look, dog, winning the NFC South used to be little to me. But since it's big to you, it's now big to me. And I'm going to have to take that from you as well. Look at this. 6 rings, 1 ring. 3 MVPs. How many you got, Drew? Oh, damn, dog. It's like that. So when you look at me, I have a dynasty behind me already packed up in the luggage where I really live. This is my side crib. And then this is where you live, and that's all you have. And people like you have said this before, and I want you to own up to it. People look at Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and some say they've underachieved.
Agree, I think they have.
Do you think they have?
Agreed.
So if you're Drew Brees in an underachieving moment, how can you gain greater ground anywhere else other than beating the GOAT in any form or any fashion, including this week?
I think, well, I look at it a little bit differently. I don't think anything you said is incorrect, but how I look at it is simple is that nobody's really expecting the Saints to win, although they should, because your reputation precedes you.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes. And right now, the reputation for the Buccaneers is they're sprinting into this game. The Bucs have won. They've won their last 3 games by 55 points. The Saints have won their last 4 games by only 15 points.
Nothing.
So the Saints caught a cramp. They limping into this game. But the Bucs are sprinting into this game, just knees and elbows. That's all you see, knees and elbows. So as I look at it, everybody's expecting the Bucs with Antonio Brown, another Hall of Fame receiver, to really should blow the Saints away. Then you really should go in there and you should handle your business. Everybody's looking at the Saints like, hey, just compete. So the Bucs have gotten a lot better since the last time they played y'all. I know y'all handle business, but the Bucs is a different team. Just go out there and compete. If you're the underdog, Marcellus, if you're the dark horse, that's a lot less pressure. If you're going into a race, big dog, if you're going into a race against Usain Bolt, the fastest man to have ever lived, you don't really have any pressure to win because nobody's expecting you to.
Yeah, but that's a different conversation, and it's not analogous because if you look at the Saints, they are expected to win this division again because they won it 3 times before in a row.
Are they, though?
Yeah, let me tell you why. You won it the last 3 years, correct? And then this year, you have continuity. They have a lack of familiarity. They don't even know each other. That's why you beat them week 1. Yeah, they're more talented than you on paper, but will it gel together in time for them to take the division from you? The Saints were banking on, we are familiar with each other. This was a compromised offseason. There's no way all of that's going to work to the tune of them taking the division from us. We have a stranglehold on this block right here. And week 1, it looked that way again. But now, as the season has progressed, we're starting to look at it differently. Drew Brees, already on record, basically going to retire at the end of the year. This is how he wants to go out, not as a top-end contender, but also losing his division to Tom Brady, who just moved over there. To me, that's just too much, man. You just look at it in totality. If I were Drew Brees, I will be hot at Tom Brady. Because I'm like, damn it, I got everybody else beat in this world except this dude right here. And it's a Justin Gatlin kind of moment. I could outrun everybody walking this planet except one dude. And that one dude takes all the shine. That one dude is married to a supermodel. Nothing wrong with me being married to my college sweetheart, but it ain't the same, okay? This one dude is out there, and he has a scandal, Deflategate. Comes and goes. Me, I have the anthem. And look, I'm just standing by my convictions. And now look at me. Can't even go to the barbecue anymore. Like, Drew Brees in a whole different world, man. If I'm Drew Brees in this situation, I'm trying to get a win any way it comes.
The only, because everything you said, again, I rock with. I don't know that Drew Brees was going to the barbecue in Westlake anyway. You know, he's from Westlake, Texas. I don't know if they got barbecues out there as it is. But the only small place I'm going to push back is very simple. If the Bucs lose to the Saints, now the question is, can they beat the Saints?
Okay.
Again, Tom Brady's never been swept in his division. So if the Bucs lose to the Saints, you beat everybody else. A flukish loss, some would argue, to the Bears. Tom Brady forgot what down it is. That won't happen again.
Right.
A flukish loss. If you lose to the Saints, now the question is, can you beat them? Think about it. Let's draw a parallel. Lamar Jackson. For the most part, he can beat everybody else. But can he beat the Chiefs? And if he can't beat the Chiefs, he'll never be able to accomplish his ultimate goal. I don't care, Lamar Jackson, that you won an MVP, that you really beat everybody else except the Steelers this past week, that your record has basically no blemishes on it because you can't get past the Chiefs. I will look at the Bucs. I don't care that you can beat the Broncos. I don't care that you can roll past the Giants. I don't care that you can beat all these other teams because you can't beat the Saints. And if you're going to win it all, more than likely you're going to have to beat the Saints. Because, number one, if you're going to win it all, you probably got to win your division. But if not, you're going to have to see them in the playoffs. That, to me, is where the majority of the pressure will lie.
Yeah, well, coaches always say, look, it's going to be hard to nearly impossible to beat a team 3 times in the same year, right?
Yeah, that's real.
So, but you can flip that on his head as well and say, look, if we lose to them again, if we're the Tampa Bay Bucs, guess what? We're still peaking. We're still learning each other. We're still digesting this playbook. They already know what they are. They already have peaked. If they beat us week 1 like they did and they beat us this week, that's okay. Because guess what? They already know who they are. We don't expect much more from them. But there's so much room for growth and opportunity for the Bucs. Even in the loss, the pressure is on the Saints and Drew Brees. Coming up at the top of the hour is Cam Newton, one and done in New England. We'll tell you if bringing Cam back is the Patriots' best option. But first, Bill Belichick could be headed for his first losing season in a long time. Ooh, has his reputation taken a hit? That's next. Speak for yourself. And they're off.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Patriots in a rare spot at 2-5. Oh, that's bad. After 4 straight losses, Bill Belichick brought up salary cap issues this week, but said he wasn't making excuses. Sure, Bill. Former Patriot Matt Light took it even further, saying this season is a, quote, joke, close quote, because of players missing time, and added Belichick is waiting to, quote, play for a real championship with real players fully prepared. Whatever that means. Marcellus, I'm going to need you to make sense of that later.
I can't make sense of that.
Right now, make sense of this.
What?
Is Belichick's reputation taking a hit this season?
No. Not at all. If you understand what Bill Belichick represents in terms of coaching greatness, you will understand in total perspective of who he is. This is the GOAT. Can we at least agree? He's the GOAT.
Of course.
He's the GOAT of coaching. Coaching for his, 46 consecutive season as an NFL coach. You know how old I am, Acho? 45. Belichick was coaching before my mama and daddy even said, hey, what you doing later? Like, damn, dog, what the hell? And he's the GOAT. GOAT. And guess what the GOAT means? That, I I don't know. I have the most wins in terms of championships, most wins in terms of conference championships. And you know what it also means? That I created a dynasty. And what does a dynasty mean, Acho?
What that mean?
You want to go deeper into the definition.
What that mean?
It means we win more than we don't, but we also don't win all the time. And I think that's where people get it wrong. When you look at a dynasty in totality, every single year you don't win it all. Every single year you don't even appear to win it all. Every single year you don't contend, but still you are considered the greatest. So how does his reputation take a hit? How do you even get a piece of his reputation off this season? Because once again, that has happened in the past. Bill Belichick probably won't contend. It's okay. It's not about falling down in life, Acho. Your parents taught you better. It's about how many times you get up. And he is going to get back up, even if he falls down. Still the GOAT, reputation intact.
Marcellus, save that message for a Sunday morning behind the pulpit. It's not about how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you get up. Marcellus, calm down, bro. This ain't church.
Why?
Bill Belichick, he is taking a hit this season. His reputation is. It's not because he's not the GOAT, but let's be real for a second. Let's stop with the semantics. The conversation this whole year around Belichick. Is it Belichick? Is it Brady? Is it Belichick? Is it Brady? Is it Belichick or is it Brady? Somebody tell me who it is. Whenever we have these conversations about dynamic duos across any sport, the question is only answered, the question is only silenced if one of the singular parts goes on to answer the question in solidarity. What do I mean by that? Kobe and Shaq. Could Kobe win it without Shaq? Could Shaq win it without Kobe? Shaq left. He won one, 06 with the Heat. Kobe on his own, late great Kobe Bryant, rest his soul. He won it without Shaq. Jordan and Phil Jackson. Jordan and Phil Jackson. Is it Jordan? Is it Phil? Is it Phil? Phil leaves. He goes to the Lakers. Jordan, he retires. I'm not going to talk about Jordan when he was 39 and 40 on the Wizards. But Phil Jackson leaves and he wins another one. Okay, those questions were answered. Those questions were silenced. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Tom Brady leaves. He left as the greatest of all time. He's still in contention right now without Bill Belichick as the greatest of all time. But Bill Belichick, what's he doing, Marcellus? I don't know. Turn on your TV, you might find out. Tom Brady, his winning percentage with the Patriots, 76%. Tom Brady's winning percentage this season, 75%. With Bill Belichick, 76. Without Bill Belichick, 75. Bill Belichick's winning percentage with Tom Brady, 76%. Before Tom Brady, 41%. Since Tom Brady left, 2-5. Carry the two Columbia, divide by this, 2-5. I can't do the math, but it ain't good, Coach. What I'm saying is his reputation, it will take a hit in the short term. It's not going to deduct the rings he's won. It's not going to deduct the championships he's been to. It's not going to deduct the Coach of the Year titles that he has accomplished. But in the short-term interim, his reputation, sir, it's taking a hit.
Aren't you a bishop's son?
I am.
And you straying away from these Sunday morning sermons that I'm giving up here right now, you heathen? Is this how far LA is taking you away from your home, from your heart? Brother, I'm going to pray for you. Okay, let's talk about this. Since you want to use examples in basketball, let's have some fun with this. Since you want to bring up Shaq and Kobe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's have some fun with Shaq and Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe. Did Shaq win before he got with Kobe, yes or no?
No, sir.
No, he didn't. Okay, so they get together, they win 3 rings.
Absolutely.
And then everybody wants to change the conversation. Who was the real driver of that engine? Was it Kobe? Was it Shaq? Even though Shaq won 3 finals MVP, it should have been Shaq. But there was a conversation because of the rift. Who was more important for the franchise, more important for the team, right? Then people like you, Acho,
what I do?
You start looking in the moment, losing perspective. Because people like you got swayed and said Shaq was the reason. Shaq is the greater player. Because what did Shaq do right after he left Kobe? He went and won a ring with Dwayne Wade.
He did.
So when he won his ring, he's sitting there laughing, 4, and all the jokes and all the freestyle raps and everything. Kobe stuck at 3.
Hey, the raps, though?
The rap. Shaq's my favorite rapper that ever played any sport. Like, it's not even a conversation. Anyway, so Shaq is sitting there at 4. Where Kobe at? 3. Where Kobe at? 3. Where Kobe at? 3. Stuck, right? How did that end? How did that end?
5 of them things.
Kobe went past him. Kobe is the Belichick in this situation. Tom Brady, go do what you got to do in 8 weeks after me. Go do what you got to do in a year after me. Do what you got to do in the next 3 years after me.
That's fair.
But guess what? the Kobe Bryant in me is going to coach longer than you're going to play and still going to have more runway of greatness than you are understanding.
Everything you said is correct. The question then becomes, is Belichick going to have the same success without Tom Brady? That is a pivotal point for me.
Is Tom Brady going to have success without Belichick? Has he won a Super Bowl?
He hasn't, but what we know is he's 6-2, which is way better than what Bill Belichick is. All we can do on today, November 5th, is assess the information that we've been given.
Like Shaq freestyles, okay? See? We can assess
the information we've been given. Marcellus, if we are going to say that, okay, if Bill Belichick goes back to a Super Bowl, then I'll be like, hey, it's all Gucci, no reputation. It is perfectly fine. Bill Belichick, you got back. But as it looks right now, he don't look good. Now, it's one season after. It's only been 7 games. It's only been 8 games. I get that. But our job, we get paid to do, is come assess the information that we've been given.
That's not only our job. It's not just assess what's happened.
I'm not on Venice Beach. I'm not the people that's going to read a card and tell you your future.
Oh, really? So you're going to sit here.
I can't read the lines in your palms, Marcellus. They don't pay me enough to do that.
What's going to happen when we have to do this later? Who's going to win the Saints-Bucs game? Isn't that a prediction? Isn't that a forecast? The point is, look, we are supposed to be smart enough and experienced enough to not only take in all the information, but to make a different assessment of where is this trending, where is this going. And you can't look at a player and a coach in the same respect in terms of longevity or even in terms of potential and success. Coaches have more opportunities to do it than players. Tom Brady needs so much to go well for him in terms of them winning the championship. I think they're the front runners to win the Super Bowl this year, at least represent the NFC. That said, what if they lose? Then what you gonna say, Otto?
Let's go here, bro, because you said something you said something that I gotta dive in on.
Let's go.
How can Tom Brady be more influential, one man, be more influential over an entire team than the head coach who has influence over the whole team? That is a question that everybody has to answer. In the event Bill Belichick's reputation was not going to take any hit from this, you got to dive into the details. Tom Brady leaves and goes into a Buccaneers team that was 7-9. This Bucs team is 1 win short of matching their total last year, the whole season total last year, through 9 games. They're 1 win short. Tom Brady is having that big an effect. Tom Brady leaves, and a Patriots team that was, 12-4? Is plummeting now to 2-5, 2-6. How can one man make that big a difference? That's the biggest indictment. Nothing else on Bill Belichick. You can't have a good answer. Because I've looked at all the answers. I've looked at A, B, C, and D. You the guy that's going to come in here with E. It should be A and it should be C. Come on, Sal.
Hey, don't lie. When you had those tests, you didn't know multiple choice. You're like, I hope it's E.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
Or the SAT when they said, don't even guess. Just leave it blank. I was like, that doesn't make sense. And so I filled it out, I guess. Did Brady leave by himself? Is the retort to that, is the answer to that. And it's a good answer. If Brady left by himself, if this team had 52 of the same starters and, 52 of the same players and lost only Tom Brady, then I'll say that what you just said with your chest. But you can't. And including, I told you, they only have 12 players from a Super Bowl winning team just 21 months ago. And I also reminded you, this year in this offseason, they had 8 opt-outs. And during the season, they had 8 COVID opt-outs because of the COVID-related issues. So when you always want to just have this laser focus on Belichick and Brady, it's not that simple. Brady took other things with him or other things left with him in coincidence. Point being, you can't put all of that and point back just at Belichick.
So the reason to me that it is so simple and the reason to me that it is an indictment to a degree right now on Belichick's current reputation is this. If Tom Brady would have retired and the Patriots gotten worse, I'd be like, okay, Marcellus has an argument. Tom Brady has been deducted from the Patriots. Maybe other players left. That's why they're so bad. But Tom Brady didn't retire. He left. So Tom Brady took his talent with him, he left, and now the Buccaneers have gotten better. So what that shows me is Tom Brady can be responsible for a difference in 10 or so wins, for 5 or so wins. If Tom Brady would have just left the Patriots, I'd be like, you know what, Marcellus, maybe you're up to something. I don't know how much of it was Tom Brady. I don't know. But the fact is, Tom Brady's gone to an organization that lost 9 games last year, only won 7 games, and now they've already won 6. So it's not a coincidence anymore. It's clearly Tom Brady is a positive factor, a huge positive factor.
And no one's denying that, but also, let's be real about the assessment of the Tampa Bay Bucs from last year. All you need is a quarterback that can protect the football. All of those empty calorie yards were unnecessary, a lot of times in comeback situations. And all you need is someone not to give up 30-plus turnovers. So that's not to say that to undermine Tom Brady's greatness, because he's doing positive things as well. But there could have been a more serviceable quarterback in that same position and just protected the football, and they could have won more games. So now Tom Brady, you add to it, that's a bonus, that's a bump, that's a cherry on top. I'm not taking anything away from Tom Brady, but I just won't allow you to take anything away from Bill Belichick.
The issue at hand is this. You said all the Buccaneers needed was X. All the Buccaneers needed was a guy to take care of the football, not turn the ball 30. That's all the Patriots needed.
That's what they need right now.
Apparently, that need, that necessity, might be a bigger ask than we all think. Because if Cam Newton, MVP 2015 Cam Newton, hasn't been able to do it, and if Jameis Winston, and not saying Jameis Winston was great, but if he was doing it so terribly, maybe this ask is bigger than we all think. Maybe Tom Brady is one of the few people in the world, in the game of football, that can fulfill this minor request that you're presenting.
The Patriots had more issues than just that. And let's be real about it. They had an issue with the weapons. Why do you think Tom Brady ultimately left? He was like, you're not giving me any help. And then I'm looking out there, and I got N'Keal Harry, and I got Julian Edelman. And remember, Julian Edelman is the one who drops the pass that could have continued to drive, that potentially could have beat the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs. You know that Cam Newton went out there last week with 6 undrafted wide receivers. Bruh, you don't think Brady saw some of that coming? He saw that this team wasn't going to be built. So it wasn't just about taking care of the football in New England anymore. It was about the fact that no matter what you do in New England, there's not enough juice on the outside.
Can I submit this one? Let me submit this one, because as I see it with Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Okay.
I think there might be a reputational issue like Kevin Durant, if I can make a submission.
Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant, if I can make a submission. Kevin Durant, he is a phenomenal basketball player. For the last decade, we've been deciding, is he the greatest or is he right behind
Kevin
LeBron?
Durant.
Kevin Durant. You don't think with KD's good?
He's the best player when healthy.
Great.
Yeah, okay.
So you're making a point. Kevin Durant, great player when healthy.
Okay.
But Kevin Durant plays for, what do I see, about 8 seasons before winning a chip. He goes to Golden State with Steph, with Steve Curry, with Klay Thompson, wins a chip, wins a couple chips, finals MVPs. The question at hand becomes, Marcellus, if he doesn't win it without the Golden State team, would KD have ever won one by himself?
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Belichick, before Tom Brady, as a head coach, never won a title, 41% winning percentage. Tom Brady, 77% winning percentage, 9 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowl wins, phenomenal. If Belichick doesn't win one without Tom Brady, now the questions are going to become even louder. Man, would he have ever won one without Tom Brady? And the answer will be right in front of our eyes. So I look at that parallel. You say KD is the greatest basketball player when he's healthy. That's fine. Great.
I like that.
Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. Fine. But KD and basketball players, athletes have a depreciating asset, their athleticism. Bill Belichick should have an appreciating asset in his mind. So with that being said, if Belichick doesn't, if he persists as he is right now, and I'm not saying he'll continue to go 2-5 or 4-12. I'm saying he could only go 7-9 in years to come. If he doesn't get back to a Super Bowl, just give me one, Sal. There's going to be a question, a reputational question.
Well, I don't like what you're saying fully, because I think the premise is you're assuming Tom Brady's going to win one, or it sounds like you're already giving Tom Brady
go to one.
Yeah, you're already giving, and we don't know that. We don't know that. Last year, a 14-2 team was one and done in the playoffs. So go out there and win all these regular season games if you want. We'll see how it plays in the playoffs, especially in your first year in this system. That said, if I'm Bill Belichick, sometimes you just got to keep it real. Like, people are, I've learned that a lot of successful people are cockier internally than they show externally. It's a weird dynamic that I see. Most of the cocky, unfriendly people I've met are on the lower rung, on the lower tier. They're holding on to something. I'm going to prove something. A B-list actor is way cockier than seeing an A-list actor. A-list actor, like, I'm good. I'm the man. I ain't got to act that way. It's the same thing with Bill Belichick. If I'm Bill Belichick, I'm like, look, I'm kind of cocky in between these ears. I ain't going to let you know this, but Marcellus knows. I made a GOAT out of a 6-rounder, a 199 pick. Y'all really think I can't do this again to some degree? I don't need another dynasty. I don't need another GOAT. I just need another guy that I could move all the way to another Super Bowl championship. You don't believe that Belichick could do that?
Well, the question then becomes, and the final statement is very simple. Everybody says, and Bill Belichick thinks, I made a GOAT out of a 6th-round pick. But as Tom Brady has now left Bill Belichick and maintained his GOAT status, was it Bill Belichick that made Tom Brady? Or was it Tom Brady who enhanced Bill Belichick?
Boy, you got me up here choked up.
Only time gonna tell. Coming up, the Brown GM, he gave Baker Mayfield a lukewarm endorsement yesterday. I'm gonna tell you what Baker needs to do to win over the front office. That's next. Speak for yourself. Get it out.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield, whose Browns are 5-3, but he's been inconsistent. Threw a career-high 5 touchdown passes 2 games ago, but followed that up with 0 last week. Baker's eligible for an extension after the season, but when GM Andrew Berry was asked if Cleveland's franchise quarterback, if he is it, he said, quote, I really don't get caught up in that type of narrative. Baker has played well. Oh, my God. So, Acho, what does Baker need to do this season to prove he's a franchise quarterback? What was that?
I don't get caught up in that type of narrative.
We don't believe you.
Baker Mayfield has to not only go to a playoff game, he has to win a playoff game. It's simple. It's cut and dry. It's black and white. It's not areas of gray. He has to not only go to a playoff game, but he has to win a playoff game. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan, if you're an NFL analyst, if you're a football fan, if you're a Browns exec, you know this. Your team is good enough to make the playoffs. Your team is probably good enough to win a game, if not a game or 2. The question then becomes, what's going to inhibit you from doing that? The only answer would likely be Baker Mayfield. So for Baker to just get the Browns to the playoffs is not enough. And it's not enough because the Browns are a playoff team. So don't do what you should do and then expect me to pat you on the back for doing it. I've said this before. I'm not going to applaud a fish for swimming. I'm not going to applaud Baker Mayfield for taking a playoff team to the playoffs. I will, however, applaud Baker Mayfield for winning a playoff game. Browns, I don't think, have been to the playoffs since 2002. Haven't had a winning season since 2006 or 2007. So if Baker Mayfield, if you can go exceedingly and abundantly, I'm going to stand up and give you a standing ovation. But I won't do is applaud you for doing what you should do. How can Baker prove he's a franchise QB? It's simple. Make sure that you enjoy team success.
I'm a little more into this one than you are, it seems like. Because you said just go to the playoffs and win one.
I don't need you to do a ton.
He has to win the Super Bowl and be the reason they won the Super Bowl. And I'm just going to use precedent against them. I'm going to use history against Baker Mayfield. This is not even a hot take. This is just how the league is looking at Baker Mayfield and these type of quarterbacks. #1 overall pick? Okay, let me tell you how this goes.
Talk to me.
One, you can't be the poster child and definition of inconsistency. And that's what he is right now. Let's just be real about Baker Mayfield. Hasn't had back-to-back 250-yard passing games in 22 games. So when you see something hot, guarantee it for Baker Mayfield, the last 22 games, you're going to see the next game being cold. 3 of his last 4 games, his passer rating was 55, 62, and 73. Now, you sprinkle in the one good game to keep him afloat, but then you realize he's still the definition of inconsistency. Why do I say he has to go to the Super Bowl and win it and be the reason? Because right now, we're looking at a Jimmy Garoppolo in his first year as a starter, took his team to the Super Bowl, didn't win it, and now finds himself, it seems like, on the chopping block. You can say it's because of injuries. You can say it's because of inconsistency. The point is, a guy took his team to the Super Bowl, and that's not good enough. Now, let's say a step behind, a step lower. Let's just go to the playoffs and win a game. Like you said.
Of course.
Well, Dak Prescott did that, and he's still underappreciated. He only got his full appreciation when he finally got injured and saw what they looked like without him. But winning a playoff game for Dak Prescott has done him nothing in terms of being thought of completely as a franchise quarterback. Or you could end up not even going to the playoffs, and then we know where that's going to land you. You're not going to get the nod in terms of a franchise quarterback. So when I look at Baker Mayfield, I just come to a realization that, man, they out here slicing guys up even if they take you to the Super Bowl. So how the hell Baker Mayfield going to save himself by just winning the playoff game?
Let me tell you why I vehemently disagree with that. I vehemently disagree with that because of expectations. And we talked about this yesterday. I forget who was on the show, but with the Dallas Cowboys.
Akeem Talib.
He forgot my name, so I forgot him. With the Dallas Cowboys, obviously, they always have Super Bowl expectations. The San Francisco 49ers, they have a Super Bowl experienced head coach in Kyle Shanahan, who went to the Super Bowl as OC for the Falcons, and they have Super Bowl type of talent.
They had no Super Bowl expectations.
Let me now get to the Browns. Let me get to the Browns. Baker Mayfield, he hasn't been great.
You think?
You know who else wasn't great?
Who?
Blake Bortles. You know who else wasn't great? Joe Flacco.
Nah, well, he did win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
That's why, exactly.
Great. So
win a Super Bowl.
We walked right down that lap. Let's go to the full screen.
And MVP.
Let's go to the full screen of Joe Flacco and Blake Bortles.
Are we doing
Joe
this?
Flacco, 59% completion percentage, Marcellus, that year he won the Super Bowl. 238 passing yards, 22-10 pass touchdowns to interception ratio. That year he won the Super Bowl. 87 quarterback rating. That year he won the Super Bowl. His team was 10-6 the year he won the Super Bowl. Joe Flacco signed a $100 million deal after putting up these numbers to become the highest paid quarterback in the league at the time. To the right, you'll see Blake Bortles. You can read, so I won't read it out for you. Blake Bortles signed a 3-year, $54 million extension after these numbers he put up. Why? Because Blake Bortles went to the AFC Championship game, and Joe Flacco, his team, won the Super Bowl. Those two numbers on the right would get you benched in 2020. Those two numbers on the right sell 59% completion percentage, 22 passing touchdowns to 10 picks, 87 passer rating on the league average right now is 94. That would get you benched. It got Joe Flacco $100 million. Why do I say that? Because if you look to the left, Baker Mayfield, he'd outdo Joe Flacco right now. Completion percentage, passer rating outdoing him. Team wins. If you project it out, he'd outdo him. But Baker Mayfield, what does he need? We can get rid of the full screen. All he needs is team success. You brought up Dak Prescott. Let me end this lap with Dak Prescott. Why hasn't Dak signed the deal? It's not because Dak individually isn't good. He was on pace to throw for 6,000 yards. On pace to throw for 36 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, something of the like. It's not because Dak individually isn't good. It's because the Cowboys collectively aren't good. So Jerry Jones is looking at Dak, and it's hard for him to decipher, are you conducive to team success or just individual success? It is always quarterbacks a reflection of their team. Teams will pay quarterbacks based on how the team is doing. Joe Flacco got $100 million for numbers that would get him benched. Blake Bortles got $54 million for numbers that would get him benched. Baker Mayfield would get franchise perception. Not for individual numbers, but for collective success.
I thought I graduated from Columbia already. Golly, took me back to school with all that. That was pretty good. Not exactly complete, because if you look at it, Dak is a franchise quarterback. We all can agree now.
Not Jerry.
Well, Jerry agreed, too. He offered him $35 million. I think he thinks he's a franchise quarterback. Dak just thinks he's a little bit more than that number as a franchise quarterback. I'm not going to let you get by saying that the San Francisco 49ers had championship expectations.
This year.
This year?
Of course.
Okay, but what were they last year? In the Super Bowl. What were they the year before that? Jimmy G was hurt. What were they the year before that? 2-14. He's the reason why we think of the 49ers like we do now.
The 49ers have Super Bowl expectations this year, bro.
Yeah, because of Jimmy G taking them to the Super Bowl. The point of this is Dak, Jimmy G, whatever you want to say, we basically pointed out that Baker Mayfield, you got to do a lot this year to get that 5th-year extension option and also to get a contract extension. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think that this team is going to look at him in that same respect. This is why. When you talk about a Dallas Cowboys team, you thought that all the surrounding pieces were there, and Dak was the reason holding it back. Now you come to a different realization. No, we win because of Dak Prescott, at least in the short term this year, versus because of the others. In Cleveland, you're looking at it like we have everything we need. We got receivers. We have running backs. We have offensive line. We have offensive line coach. We have defense enough. Oh, what is Baker Mayfield? So let me do a little blind resume right here for you. Let me steal from you, who steals from Colin Cowherd, and let's have a little blind resume right here. Baker Mayfield, you are on the left. And look at that guy right there who has a higher completion percentage than you. Basically the same passer rating, but you got him. Touchdown to interception ratio, he's a little better than you. And the win percentage, oh, he's a winner. And you're not. You're under 500. I wonder who that guy can be and what's his fortunes, how his life turned out. Is that Mitch Trubisky? Hey, Baker, let me tell you one thing, big dog. You talk about franchise quarterback. You talk about 5th-year options. Where's Mr. Trubisky at right now?
He's hurt. He's actually in Los Angeles. I guess you're seeing the doctor for his shoulder. I read that on Twitter.
That dude is on the bench. And come on, man. I don't see how Baker can get out of this.
Can I use a Wileyism?
He wins it all.
Okay, use a Wileyism to push back. My dog told me last Friday, Marcellus Wiley came up here and said, a man is only as faithful
as his options.
The Bears They had options. They had a Super Bowl MVP quarterback and Nick Foles. Let me go back to that option.
Yeah.
You know, they had options. The 49ers clearly think they have options. Maybe we can get Matt Ryan in free agency. Cowboys probably think they have options. We got the best backup in Andy Dalton. We might get a top five quarterback in the upcoming draft. But the Browns, if they're only as faithful as their options, I don't know that they have options. They're not going to get a top 10 pick this year, more than likely, not at 5-3. Case Keenum's your backup. I like Case Keenum. Yep. Kevin Stefanski, you should like Case Keenum. You coached him in Minnesota when he went 11-3. But if the Browns are only as faithful as their options, as a man is only as faithful as his options, although I disagree with that, Marcellus, you're a faithful man.
I'm faithful regardless.
He's a faithful man, damn Marcellus right. Wiley is.
What's today? What'd you say? I said, what's you say?
But if you're only as faithful as your options, then I think the Browns, therefore, are kind of stuck with Baker to a degree. As long as Baker don't do nothing crazy, just don't give me a reason to leave, you Sal. Can we go there? Can we go there for a second? Like, you just don't give me a reason to leave.
You sound like my exes. Like, who you gonna find better than me? I'm like, you want a list? Like, let me find out. Okay, so you sound like Baker Mayfield would be in this situation. What else you gonna do? No. So people always think it's them versus another person. And in this situation, how about I just want to be single and find out? Let me be single and love to mingle. I can find something out, and I think the Cleveland Browns going to look at this situation like, I'd rather test the marketplace. I'd rather find a free agent than bank on you at that amount.
Sal, can I speak from experience? These streets is lonely. The Browns have a Baker Mayfield who just don't do something to make me leave. If you go 10-6, get me to the playoffs, win me a playoff game, I'll stay with you. I'll ride with you. I don't want to experience singlehood, okay? I don't want to be alone at night cuddling up with my pillow, Sal. I have Baker Mayfield.
I know that feeling, and I've been there. Them Wednesday nights, woo, and it ain't nobody but you. I get it. But the problem is you can't let that be your fear factor to keep you in a relationship, to keep you in something that's not the best for you. Your situation, first of all, the streets are lonely because it's a reflection of who you are. You ain't meeting people because of the law of attraction. And if you are a better person...
It's COVID. You don't blame this on me.
Okay, all right. You've been out in them streets, too. Don't let me find out. Let me find out. Let me get back to my point about Baker Mayfield before I call you out. Here's the thing. This is why you don't believe in Baker Mayfield.
What's up?
Solely for this reason. When he plays against teams that are under 500 this year, 4-0, and he has a 121 passer rating. When he plays teams over 500, he's 1-3 with a 64 passer rating. I wonder what happens when you get to the playoffs. Do you play against teams under 500 or over 500? Baker. So look, my exes tried to get me like that before. Ain't nobody better than me. Okay, now I'm married to Anna Marie. Gotta love it. Coming up, Antonio Brown is saying all the right things before his first game as a Buc.
Blink twice, AB.
We'll tell you if this experiment can go wrong in Tampa. Next, get out, AB. Speak for yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Antonio Brown is practicing with his new team and is expected to play anywhere from 10 to 35 snaps, according to head coach Bruce Arians. That will be his first game action in over a year. And yesterday, he said the moment felt surreal and added he wants to be part of the Bucs' current success. Y'all take a listen.
I'm excited to learn and be around the guys and, you know, motivate the guys and learn from the guys and put my hand in the pile and hopefully help be the reason we win. So I'm just super grateful for this opportunity. Excited to be around the guys and everyone here. And I'm excited to fit in here and do what's best for us to win, whatever that entails.
AB put his hand in the pile.
Get you. Like that.
So, Marcellus, let me know, bro. Could the AB experiment go wrong in Tampa?
No, can't go wrong. And it's interesting how this compromised year is actually going to benefit AB in this situation. I think the quarantine rules of the season fit him perfectly to stay focused and go out there and be a good citizen. Think about most of the guys now have all testified to what their daily routine is. Home, practice, home, play because of the quarantine rules. So that's going to help an AB who's going to have to get acclimated to this team, acclimated to this system, but also acclimated to the spotlight back on him as a football player. And we've saw in the past that where that has been an issue for AB, once the light hits him again, it activates something in him that he now is saying is behind him. We'll see about that. But I'm looking forward to seeing AB just act out on the field and then don't act up off it. Simple as that. And AB can do that with this structure, with the support system, and the fact that he's familiar with the head coach, because of their experience in Pittsburgh and with Tom Brady in New England. So I just see the support system all around AB. It takes me to one of my favorite lyrics by Big Sean right now, where he says, people could be in your circle, but don't be in your corner. Think about it. A circle doesn't have any corners in it. People be in your circle, but don't be in your corner. Look at AB now. In his circle is Tom Brady. In his circle is Bruce Arians. And those are people actually in his corner for support. So looking at that going forward, I think it's just set up for him to have success. And he's just going to do his part.
I respect that. Honestly, I didn't take you for a Big Sean guy.
What you mean?
I didn't take you for a Big Sean
I've been dropping Big Sean since you got here.
I respect it.
It's better than that stuff you be playing. What was that dude you played? What was that one-hit wonder?
Gyp Sean.
Okay,
Gyp Sean, not Big Sean, Gyp Sean. Let me get to the point,
Big
Marcellus.
Sean, Gyp Sean.
The AB experiment, it could surely go wrong.
How?
And it could surely go wrong because we would be fools to think otherwise. Pride comes before the fall. You know this. How are we going to so boastfully say, oh, this can't go wrong? Let me tell you what I didn't think would go wrong. I didn't think AB in Oakland would go wrong. He denied going to Buffalo Bills. That's back before Buffalo was good. He didn't want to go to Buffalo. You go to Oakland. John Gruden just got there. Gruden, one of the coolest coaches in the NFL. Left Monday Night Football booth. He chilling, Hollywood. But all of a sudden, you got issues with frostbite on your feet. You don't like the helmet. You got a lawsuit. You called John Gruden a racial slur. You record him on a voice note. He says you were cool recording him. It was all over. That goes wrong. Okay, but then you go to New England. New England, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, your guy. Surely that won't go wrong. But then somehow that goes wrong after just a week. I'm not saying this will go wrong, but I think we would be fooling ourselves, optimistic thinking, some sort of utopian society that AB lives in, for us to say this can't go wrong. Fool me once, shame on you.
Okay.
Fool me twice, shame on me. And it's a shame on me for believing you after you already fooled me once. AB's fooled us before. I'm not wishing or praying for his downfall. I think AB gonna go out there and ball. But what I will say is this. I'm not gonna be surprised. If your significant other, and I can talk about this because I'm not dating.
You better get out these.
If your significant other step out on you, Marcellus, one time, step out on you 2 times.
Yeah. We're fighting every day.
If they
Me
do
and
that,
somebody.
You can't be surprised if they do it again. You can't be surprised. They've shown that, wait a second, dang, they've done that to me a couple times. If AB has an issue 1 time, Pittsburgh, has an issue 2 times, Oakland.
You putting Pittsburgh on?
Has an issue 3 times, New England. I just can't be surprised if for some reason he has an issue again in Tampa.
Okay, look at me in a position where I got to defend my wife hypothetically for cheating on me so many times. This is not the show I want to do today.
I distract you and hit you with the body shot.
Like, bow! Where did that come from? Oh, it's on today. You know, I was like, baby, who's that? Oh, Instagram. Okay. Who's that? Twitter. Okay, cool. All right, here's the thing. I'm not putting Pittsburgh fully on Antonio Brown. Whatever you want to say about Antonio Brown for, what, 8, 9 of those years, quiet here, Jack, right? All of a sudden, Juju getting the same amount of targets as me. Ben Roethlisberger calling me out when you throwing into a D tackle. So I'm not putting Pittsburgh on him.
That's fair.
But the wave did hit him, and it almost drowned him when it came to the Oakland situation coupled with New England. Let's be real about that. I think what happened there was once he had the frostbite and he didn't have the full support, like people were kind of, you got frostbite in Europe? Really? And I think Gruden had his back, but Mike Mayock didn't seem like Mike Mayock was buying the story, or at least respecting the professionalism from AB in that situation. So the wave hits you. You ever been to the beach? Wave hits you. And then, right, you find yourself, oh, thought it was a riptide, almost got caught out, washed out ashore. Okay? Then you immediately go to New England. Guess what? You're still wet. You're still wet from that experience in Oakland. You ain't dried off fully. And he gets there 1 weekend. Bye. I told you I was still wet. Needed time to breathe. All I'm saying is I'm going to put all of that 1, 2, 3 in one pile for AB instead of 3 individual piles. And hopefully with the time off and the relationship he has now with Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, and Tim Robbins, we're going to talk about that. All of a sudden, Tony Robbins, all of a sudden it seems like we have a different AB. We got to bring in Fox NFL analyst, somebody else who is on my side, I hope, Greg Jennings. So, Greg, could Antonio Brown experiment go wrong in Tampa? Say no.
It could go wrong. Anything could go wrong. However, do I believe it will? No. So don't pump too fast. It definitely, I don't believe it will go wrong. And I'm rooting that it does not go wrong. But here are a couple reasons why. When you've had something taken away from you that you have taken for granted over and over and over again, eventually you have to realize how important that thing is. And football being taken away from Antonio Brown, as much as he wanted to say, I'll walk away from the game, I'll leave the game, I don't need the game, he's needed the game. It is what makes him special. It's not all that he is, but right now where he is in his life and his career, it's something that he needs to keep him on the straight and narrow. And fortunately, he has an opportunity to do it with a guy who is all in, not only on winning, but on him winning. And that guy is Tom Brady. When you say, I want a guy to play with, and we acquire that guy as an organization, you better show me that he's going to be all in. So what better way to be all in and to know that I have a beat on what he's doing. He's living with me. He and Tom Brady are rooming together. So he's going, like Marcellus said, he's not only forget COVID protocols. Shoot, Tom Brady leaves the facility, AB leaves the facility. Tom Brady arrived to the facility, AB arrived to the facility. We're going home together. We're going to work together. We're going to make it happen together. And when he says, I want to put my hand in on the pile, look, I know he's going to say all the right things, but you can get a great sense of where someone is by their countenance and looking at his disposition. This is a man that has been humbled. This is a man that has had something taken away from him that he truly thought was now gone, and he understands it will be forever gone if he messes this one up.
Hey, Greg Jen has been reading books. He said consonants, and he said, did he say dissonance or he said disposition?
I mean,
he said consonants and disposition, Marcellus, in one sentence.
I love all of that. Keep it going, Greg.
That boy sounded like he went to Columbia up here.
Went to Harvard.
Fellas, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the fact that there are a lot of mouths to feed. See, in America, what I've realized is, Marcellus, you go to a restaurant, I like Cheesecake Factory. You go to Cheesecake Factory, you're probably going to take it to go box because they got a plethora, excess amount of food.
Oh, so good.
In America, we rock off a surplus. But every now and then, every summer, I go back to Nigeria, where my parents were born and raised, and we do medical mission work. And in the village, Greg, in the village, Marcellus, when we're distributing food sometimes, everybody starts to get upset because we're operating out of a limited supply, and they realize we might run out of food before they get fed. Why am I bringing that up? Mike Evans, Tom Brady has already said is going to be a Hall of Famer. Chris Godwin, star receiver for the Buccaneers, in his contract year, a lot to play for. Scotty Miller, he's already had an appetite. His stomach has been enlarged because Tom Brady is feeding him. Currently leads the Bucs team in receptions, in reception yards. Rob Gronkowski, he's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. You got a lot of mouths to feed. And now you're going to bring in AB, and Lord knows he probably going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer too. So as I look at it, if you got all these players who realize, wait a second, this ain't Cheesecake Factory now. It's only one ball and ain't no to-go plates. You're going to start to get a little animosity, in my opinion, though, Greg, you would know best, over the fact of, wait a second, am I going to get fed? I got to play for my contract, Chris Godwin. I got to play for my Hall of Fame status, Mike Evans. I got to play to legitimize my NFL career, Scotty Miller. I got to play for my Hall of Fame status, Rob Gronkowski. I got to play for my Hall of Fame status, Antonio Brown. Eventually, you're going to get a little bit of animosity, Greg Jennings, I would assume. Correct me, though, if I'm wrong.
No, I don't think that you're completely wrong. All of what you said is very true. Mike Evans and what Tom Brady said, and even the lack of knowing, I haven't gotten him more opportunities. I want to get him more involved. Godwin, all these pieces that you mentioned, they're very important. They're vital to the success of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. However, as a parent, if I'm taking my kids somewhere and I have a birthday party that I'm going to and I say, honey, I only have this amount of gifts. You're not going to get one because I'm going to take care of you at home. This is the situation you have with Tom Brady and Antonio Brown. I'm not saying this is his child, but I'm saying he's hand-holding him right now, and he's bringing him home. So, look, AB, you may not get all these opportunities, but trust me, I'm in your corner. They're not sleeping with they're not coming home under the same roof and having the conversations that we having. There's a different dynamic here. It's greater than just football when it comes to Tom Brady and Antonio Brown right now.
Yeah, he went to Harvard last time. He said something. Now he had JUCO. What the hell? Sleeping together. Hey, they do stay in the same house. I get where you're coming from. And it's Tom Brady's house. He don't even know he there. He's like, hey, B. That's how big that house is. But respect. I like how we're having a conversation about finite time. AB, you can't play forever. I don't give a damn how good you are. And finite resources, as Acho was talking about when he goes back home to Nigeria. And it's an interesting thing when you talk about being on the team, and Greg is the only champion on this screen right here. But one thing I did notice about my experience, that when you get your individual stats and if you don't win, it's like a slice of bread, and it's a good piece, and it can fill you up. But when you win, or win it all like Greg did, you get the whole loaf, and it's enough for everybody to eat plus some, right? And I think that's got to be the mindset when you look at this team. But let's not just look at this team from a bird's eye view. Let's dive into some of these details, because there's a little reputation bias going on right now. We know that Evans and Godwin was the most prolific duo in the NFL last year, but not this year. Because of injuries, because of learning a new quarterback, whatever you want to call it, they are right now 14th in the NFL in terms of receptions. They are 17th in terms of yards per game. And targets per game, they are 17th as well. But most damning is their after the catch ability. That used to be great, tremendous. This year, 3.5 yards per catch, 23rd in the NFL. You know what AB was in the NFL in terms of yards after the catch?
What's that?
From 2011 to 2018? Oh, just #1 in the NFL. So AB, as much as I think he's a cherry on top or an insurance policy, Acho's actually been correct in saying, hey, you need AB a little bit more than people are leading on. We'll see how it plays out. All right, it's time for us to make our picks this week for our free-to-play Super 6 contest. Sticking with the Bucs, they're hosting the Saints in one of the matchups this week. Acho, you're up first. Give me a winner. I'm in it.
Give me the Saints, 28 over the Bucs, 27.
Oh, you're just running with narrative. What you got, Greg?
I got the Bucs, 27-24.
Okay. And I got the Bucs as well, 33-26. And I haven't lost one this year, so bet with me, y'all. Super 6 players have won over $700,000 already this fall. So get your picks in before kickoff Sunday for your chance to be a millionaire. All you have to do is correctly predict the outcome of 6 NFL games. And for top stories, scores, and more, go to the Fox Sports app. Coming up in our big story, Cam Newton is struggling out there, and the Patriots are losing. We'll tell you if Cam could be one and done in New England. Next, Speak for Yourself, Harvard JUCO edition. You're watching Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley here. Emmanuel Acho.
I just noticed a lapel pin, bro. Can I just applaud you for the subtleties?
No,
it's the subtleties.
I don't like it because I'm biting your style. A metal flower on me. This ain't me. This is Acho. So I concede today.
Looks good.
It looks good? All right. You would say that because you don't every day. All right, let's talk about somebody else who's looking. I don't know if he's looking so good. Cam Newton. And Cam's been struggling big time. Let's be real about it. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since September and is one of the league leaders with 8 turnovers. Despite the bad play, Bill Belichick said he's sticking with the former MVP as his starter. Cam is playing on a 1-year deal with a base salary of only $1 million. He could be looking for an extension in an offseason when the Patriots are expected to have a lot of salary cap space. Greg is back with us, but Acho, is running it back with Cam Newton the Patriots' best option next season?
No. And it potentially could be the worst option, depending on how Cam Newton finishes this season. Marcellus, I haven't learned a lot in this life, but I've learned one thing. 2 wrongs do not make a right, though 3 lefts do. Y'all think about that.
Right,
2 wrongs don't make a right. Cam Newton this season right now would prove that it's not a good fit. I like Cam. Cam's a great quarterback, a former NFL MVP. But Cam Newton with the Patriots, it is not symbiotic. It's not a symbiotic relationship. It's not a relationship that either Cam or the Patriots can really be proud of. Why in the world would you want to run it back? Cam, why would you want to run it back, assuming it continues to go as it goes now? I'm going to keep this one tight, because when you're right, you don't have to talk a lot. People who are wrong, they talk and they talk and they talk. When you're right, you just leave with the facts and you shut up and you let people digest it. So let me say this. The worst touchdown to interception ratio of quarterbacks, minimum 14 pass attempts per game. The list starts with Jamarcus Russell. 3 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He was out of the league the next season. Then there's Cam Newton. 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I'm going to say some names and skip past them. Jimmy Clausen, he had 4 more starts the rest of his career. You hear guys like Peyton Manning, Troy Aikman. It was at the tail end of their career. They knew they were done. They retired the next year. The bottom of that list, you got Cordell Stewart, 7 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He never started another game again. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because Cam Newton is having a historically bad season. Historically. 2 touchdowns, 7 picks. It's historically bad. I'm not putting it all on Cam Newton. I'm not. I'm not putting it all on the Patriots. I'm not. What I am going to do is put it on the combination. I'm not running it back because I'm almost mad I ran it in the first place.
Whoa. Oh, man.
Almost.
Woo. You better run it back with Cam. Damn right. I have to be real about it. Cam has to protect the football and continue to grow in this offense and be more comfortable. But all that said, I expect that to occur. And, yeah, let's run it back with Cam. This time, let's have a real offseason. This time, let's have a real training camp for him. This time, let's let him get acclimated to our system, our culture, and our playbook. As long as Cam Newton stays accurate like he is right now, 66% this year for Cam Newton, when that's been historically an issue for Cam Newton. Oh, you add that accuracy with his athleticism. We got something in New England with the cap space. They say $60 million plus in cap space. Mess around, trade Stephon Gilmore. That could be north of $80 million. Now we could build a team around Cam Newton, the same team that we didn't build around Tom Brady. And that's why Tom Brady now is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. You have to dive into the details when you talk about Cam Newton. Don't forget that we were talking about it yesterday, Acho, and it felt like beginner's luck because Cam hit the ground running and changed our expectations of what really was a very bad situation. A sorry team that he made look good. Week 1, they beat the Miami Dolphins. It's highlighted by this power run offensive scheme and style that we're like, can the Patriots run this style? Or is this sustainable? But, hey, they won a ball game. Then they almost win a ball game, but they answer a different question. Damn, Cam could throw that football. Nearly 400 yards against Seattle in a losing effort. Then you go and beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Not exactly Cam's best game, but because he protects the football for the most part, guess what? They're now 2-1. COVID hits this team again, and all of a sudden, everything goes off track. Everything's off the rails. I'm looking at Cam Newton last week, and this is why I have confidence in him going forward. He had 6 undrafted wide receivers out there saying, that's my weapons. Those are my weapons. Come on, man. And that Bills loss. Dive into these details with me. Cam Newton had his highest grade in terms of QBR and his drop back percentage in terms of what he looked like compared to other weeks before. So if you look at Cam Newton, the first 3 games when he was just trying to learn this before COVID, look at him even in a loss in Buffalo. Consecutive scoring drives. They hadn't done that all year. And then was driving again for the game winner, but he fumbled the ball away. Expect Cam to grow not only this season, but the offseason and be back with the Patriots.
I'm 100% on board with what you're saying, Marcellus. Yes, God. Cam is the best option. When you look at their roster, how it is configured right now, who's sitting on the bench to back Cam up? Exactly, Jarrett Stidham. So you think Cam is struggling with the personnel that he has and he has at his disposal? He's looking at it, and I'm going to give you a quote from the great movie. You'll know what it is when I say it, Michael Blackson. He's looking at that like, I can't give with this. What is this? Like, he's struggling. He can't flex with this. You want Cam to be Cam? Well, give Cam things to work with. It's what Marcellus said. This is why Tom Brady knew. When you know what's going on, you like, hey, man, I'm out. I've seen what they tried to do. I've overcome it for a long time. Now I'm saying I'm not in the place where I can overcome it any longer, because they continue to just rely on me and my ability to make things happen and make things work and be the glue to keep things together. I refuse to continue to be that glue. You have to put pieces around other pieces. I don't care who you are. You're not going to win in this league without talent, without skill position guys, which we know, as great as Bill Belichick has been, he is not a great skill position drafter of that position, in particular wide receiver. So look, N'Keal Harry has been hurt. Julian Edelman has been hurt. They're going to be out this weekend again. So Cam still is looking at that that personnel like, man, what is this? We can't get jiggy with this.
What did he? Yo, Greg, what I will do, although that was a terrible take, it was a phenomenal accent. Okay, phenomenal accent. I rock with that. Coming up, Mike McCarthy is having a season he would like to forget in Dallas. Fox NFL insider Jay Glazer will tell us if McCarthy's already on the hot seat. Don't want to miss that. That's next.
Tonight, Aaron Rodgers leads the NFC North leading Packers against the 49ers. It all starts 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. That's tonight, and this weekend, Fox NFL Sunday, we'll be honoring our veterans. Jay Glazer will be with Cooper Manning at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. And Jay, he joins us right now. Thanks for being here, Jay. We know you're doing a ton of...
my dudes? How are you?
My guy.
My dog. Where the muscles at? You still gunned up, I can see, baby. Pandemic weight.
Oh, man. Hey, yeah, that's the quarantine workout.
We love it,
pushing
man.
my car, pushing walls, yeah.
Appreciate you, brother, being with us right now. We know you do a ton
absolutely.
of work with veterans. Tell us what you'll be doing down in San Diego and about your work with the MVP organization.
Yeah, well, we're going down on behalf of Fox. And since I've been to Fox since 2004, Fox has sent either our show or me to a military installation somewhere in the world every Veterans Day and or every Thanksgiving. We've been to Afghanistan. I've been all the way up in the demilitarized zone by North and South Korea. It's been everywhere because the appreciation we have for our veterans is unlike any other network. So it's great. And, with this foundation, with MVP, merging vets and players, we're taking former combat vets and former NFL players and former pro athletes who need a new team again in the transition, and we're building them up from the inside out, reminding them how loved they are. And look, on Veterans Day, we all celebrate Veterans Day. I want all our veterans out there who are listening right now, celebrate yourself. It's okay, celebrate yourself. We all look at you with such incredible high regard. We need you guys and gals to look at yourself with the same regard. And this week, celebrate yourself. That's why we're going down to Miramar, to celebrate everybody.
Man, that's awesome, Jay. That is awesome. Well, let's transition and talk some football, something we also all love and appreciate. We just talked about Cam Newton because he started off hot in New England, Jay, but in his last 3 games, he's thrown 0 touchdown passes and 5 picks. He'll be a free agent again at the end of the season. So, Jay, you tell me, how much interest do you think there will be for Cam this offseason?
There's a couple things here. First of all, the lack of interest this offseason had more to do with the circumstances we're under because of COVID. They weren't able to come in and have him come in and look at his shoulder, look at his foot. Otherwise, he'd have a ton of shooters. I know that. But it was different. And then you see him this year. He started off great. But the moment he had to go down because of COVID, and he lost those reps, and he lost that rhythm, obviously, he started making a lot of mistakes. And that's what concerns the Patriots. It's the errors. It's the picks. It's the fumbles. It's not seeing certain things. So they know he needs those reps. He's new to this offense, right? He only was there a few weeks, and then he went down with COVID because we didn't have the normal training camp and no preseason. So he needs those reps. He needs to get that familiarity. But the number of errors is definitely concerning them.
Yeah, you talk about Cam and the Patriots and just having a longer runway with this team to get acclimated with him. You think he gets a pass because of this offseason and the fact that they don't have weapons, but you look forward to next offseason, they have the salary cap space to build around Cam, the chances of him being back in New England?
I don't think he gets a pass. That's the interesting thing because GMs and even owners, they're kind of looking at even their head coaches of, hey, you've got to do this right now. Not really. I mean, we're in such a different time. It's so hard to build a culture. It's hard to build a culture when you certainly can't have the interacting, the human, the human one-on-one human interaction. And then you take away all of preseason. You take away all the offseason. You take away most of training camp. It's really hard to build the culture, yet the bosses, they don't want to hear about that. Right. And the coaches, they're looking at the players. They don't want to hear about it either. So this is what we have to deal with. And look, a lot of those coaches who are just like, hey, this is the circumstances we're in. deal with it, just like anything else. We're good at roll. Those are the guys who are doing it successful, the Mike Tomlins and the Pete Carrolls.
Yeah, well, Jay, there are other people that don't want to hear about the excuses. That's Dallas Cowboys fans and head coach Mike McCarthy, because they're only 2-6 in his first season for the Cowboys as his head coach. They've had a ton of injuries. I get that. They're about to start their fourth quarterback this season on Sunday. Despite the poor first half performance, however, Jerry Jones has given McCarthy a vote of confidence. So you tell me, Jay, is there a chance that the Cowboys move on from Mike McCarthy after just one season?
No, I don't think they will. I think they understand what's happening. And look, we just talked about it, trying to build a culture. The Dallas Cowboys trying to build a culture there, that's a whole different animal. And when you actually can't get down there and put your stamp on that, that's even more of an uphill battle. Then you lose as many players as they've lost, and it becomes pretty much insurmountable.
Now, Jay, let's play a little blame game there in terms of the list of issues. What would you say the short list of issues for the Dallas Cowboys this year?
Injuries is number one by far.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Injuries is number one. And I do think, look, they're trying to change a lot there with the players. They're trying to change scheme down there with the defense, not the offense so much. And the offense, when they had Dak in there, you saw what he did with Kellen Moore last year, but then when McCarthy came in, the offense exploded more. So whatever he added, the offense was obviously looking fantastic. But defensively, man, they're not able to pick it up. They're just not there. And then I think also, look, the fumbling problems and those turnovers, and Zeke, you kind of scratch your head and go, man, there's no way they could overcome those so early in games also.
Now, let's talk about another guy there's been some uncertainty over. That's Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He's been out again with a high ankle sprain. Supposed to be a minimum of 6 weeks. He hasn't been productive this season, even when he was out there healthy. So you tell me, Jay, what's the 49ers plan if they do decide to move on from Jimmy G?
Shoot, I don't know who's going to be out there yet, but I can see that happening. And look, they dabbled this year of, do we go for Brady? And I think Brady was letting it know that, yeah, a place like San Fran, he'd love to go there also. But, the contract was pretty prohibitive for Jimmy G to move on. And even when he is in there, guys, it's not like this is a pass-happy team. I mean, the big thing that happened to the Niners is when Bosa went down, Solomon Thomas went down, they lose D Ford. That's what got them going last year. It's that defense and the attitude of the defense. And even with that, they still picked up, those couple weeks after the Miami game, which I was surprised about. But this team has been, we talked about the Cowboys being decimated by injuries. Niners have been absolutely just crushed by the injury bug.
Yeah, but the thing is, where's the appreciation level for Jimmy G? We just got to look at history, short history with Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan was 1-10 as a head coach in his first year there before Jimmy G comes there. And then in the next year when he's a full-time starter after the injuries, he takes him to the Super Bowl, but now there's talk of him being on a chopping block. What is the greatest issue with Jimmy G or the limitation with Jimmy G?
Well, I think Jimmy G is a game manager. That's what you see, right? They went to the Super Bowl last year because of that defense. That defense took on the personality of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. That's why they went. Jimmy G, his job is basically, hey, don't mess this up and strike the open guy when he's available. But that ground game, the defense, it was old school football. And, I think they were hoping this year that maybe Jimmy G would show more. He would go a little bit further. But, again, I think it's just been so hard with the revolving door of the receivers over there and the running backs over there, and they're on their fifth center now, and not having the defense give you the ball right back and put you in those positions. I think it's all of it is kind of the imperfect storm for Jimmy G.
So then let me get your actual opinion then, Jay. Do you think it would be a wise decision for the Niners to move on from Jimmy G, or is it honestly be happy with what you got because it's hard to find a great quarterback in the National Football League? What's your take?
No, I think they could do more with Jimmy G. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl with him last year, but they need to have those weapons around him. He's not Russell. He's not the guy that's going to take this team and they're going to go as he goes. He's the guy that everybody else plays well, and he makes sure that he capitalizes on it. But, yeah, you can win with Jimmy G, absolutely.
Well, thanks, Jay, for joining us, big dog. We'll catch you tonight ahead of the Packers and 49ers on Fox NFL Thursday at 7:30 Eastern. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
My man, coming up, Golden Tate and his wife called out the Giants play calling, and Tate had to pay the price. We'll break it all down next. Speak for yourself. Couples edition.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. We got some drama brewing with the Giants right now.
Drama.
Golden Tate scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter during Monday's loss to the Bucs. Then he yelled, "Throw me the ball," into the camera. Tate had only been targeted 3 times in the game, and his wife, yes, a family affair, she ripped the play calling on Instagram, posting, quote, "Feed him the ball." Well, Tate was told to not come to practice yesterday as head coach Joe Judge stressed zero tolerance. Y'all take a listen.
It has to be team first for everyone in this building, every coach and every player. It has to be team first. There's no exceptions for that. All right, I'm not going to tolerate, put up with any kind of selfish behavior from anybody, coach or player. It's not going to happen.
I heard that. Say it on camera.
Joe Judge be annoying me, bro. You know what, Sal? I'm going first. Greg, good to have you back. Greg Jennings, y'all already know.
Hey, no Joe Judge off mic.
Marcellus,
off camera.
I'm going to hate off mic. I'm going to hate on camera. Y'all check my Twitter. I just hate it publicly, too. I'm going to say it with my chest. I ain't scared. Look, Joe Judge, this is the reason why coaches be losing. We can't have any selfish behavior. Joe Judge, you utter all of the coaching jargon, but it doesn't translate. Joe Judge got hired by the Giants. He said, "We're going to be the most disciplined football team in the NFL. Discipline will not cost us games." Y'all go read the transcript. This was in maybe June, July. What happened on a primetime game against the Eagles? They quite literally lost because of discipline by a defensive back, 2 penalties that cost them the game. Joe Judge sits up there and argues all of these great things that sound great coming out of a coach's mouth. But Marcellus, you know this, so don't lie to the people. Greg Jennings, you know this, so don't lie to the people. What sounds great in coaching jargon does not always translate. I'm not mad at Golden Tate for wanting the ball. Because guess what? He had 3 targets, and he had the most impressive play of the game and the most important catch of the game. I'm not mad at a player for wanting to win. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I'm not. And Joe Judge, if you want to sit here and utter, "Oh, it's got to be team first." Yes, it's got to be team first. But when one individual succeeds and every individual succeeds, the collective organization succeeds. I'd rather have a dog who out there trying to eat than have a whole bunch of little guys just, "Oh, I don't really care what happens." I'm not mad at Golden Tate. And Joe Judge trying to say there, "Oh, it's all about the team and I'm not going to have any selfish players." Oh, okay, you're 1-7, so I don't know if your philosophy is working thus far, but I respect Golden Tate going out there trying to ball. That's just me.
Damn, do you respect any process? Like, you keep talking about Golden Tate and what size dog he is and how hungry he is. I'm going to get to that later about what kind of dog Golden Tate really is not. But let's talk about building a culture, and that's what my coach is trying to do. Joe Judge is out here trying to build a culture. And I dare you, Acho, come around and see him laying the foundation, pouring the concrete, and you sit there and scream out, "Where's the house?" He's like, "Damn it, can I build the foundation first before I build the house on top of it?" And that's what's happening in this moment. Joe Judge comes off as a winner because he's from a winning culture. And it doesn't have to translate immediately. That's your problem. He's coming off in the building blocks of a winning culture. So what? He stole it from Bill Belichick. So what? They all steal the same thing. It's a copycat league in terms of philosophy, in terms of schemes, in terms of play calling, etc. But you know what? Joe Judge is looking at you. Joe Judge is a Don Dada. Give me some Joe Judge, how he looks at Acho right now. This is you, Acho. Look at my man, Joe Judge.
No chance.
Oh, Joe Judge, set that culture. Don't take your ass home, boy. You don't know about this winning culture. That's Joe Judge right there. Coming into practice, where Golden Tate at? Golden Tate ain't here. You know why Golden Tate ain't here? Because he ain't a part of this winning. Greg, I'm going to let you go right now, and then I'm going to finish off this song that Joe Judge started and let y'all know who Golden Tate really is. Or
Did you just finish with, because he's not a part of this winning? What winning? They ain't winning. There ain't no winning going on.
Winning culture.
Say it with your chest, Greg. Say it with your chest,
I don't want to hear that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to hear that. I understand all about establishing culture. But winning ways present opportunity for guys to become frustrated, and losing ways present even a greater chance for that to be broadcast. And that's what we saw. We see a competitor that's like, look, if we want to have an opportunity, give me the ball. Yes, a competitor, a guy who's going to go out there and still compete, even though his team is 1-7.
Talk about
even
it.
though he knows
Talk
he's
about
struggling
it.
with this offense.
Thank you.
He's still out there willing to compete for Joe Judge. So don't give me some it's all or nothing. It's team first. Yeah, it is team first. And like Acho said, there is no team without individual players. So I don't want to hear about guys being selfish. You need selfish guys, because if he came in there and said, no, don't pass me the ball, then we got a problem with saying, wait, don't be so passive. I want you to demand the ball. I want you to be hungry and say, give me the ball. But just don't tell anybody else outside the organization. Just don't look into the camera and say how much you're passionate about getting the ball and being a playmaker. Miss me with all of that.
Oh, really? Wow, that's a competitor? Wow, y'all got low standards for what a competitor is. Last time I checked, the competitor doesn't have to have a 4-game suspension because he on them roids. Oh, did we go there? Oh, what kind? There we go. What kind of competition we playing? Because let me know. I'm about to level the playing field. I'm talking about Golden Tate, okay? Why he missed 4 games last year. Let's keep talking about this competitor since y'all want to go there. Since 2015, 11 yards per reception, 3rd lowest amongst all wide receivers. He a competitor. Oh, he need to say it with his chest. He a big dog. How about you say it with your performance and not have the wife have to go hit the gram to support you? You don't have to say anything because your performance speaks louder than anything, Golden Tate. And since you left Seattle, you have as many drops as you have touchdown catches. Over those 7 seasons. How about that you have your career worst in yards after catch? How about the fact that everything that he is saying is not matching up to everything he's doing on the field? You know what I hate about people? When they ain't doing right and they're not doing well, and then they get one moment and then they grab a megaphone. Hey, you know I need the ball more. Coach looking at you like, dude, you ain't did jack since you've been a Giant. 1 game over 100 yards since he's been a New York Giant for 2 years. And now you gonna grab the microphone and try to get loud on somebody. Take your butt home if I'm
He been on Pro Football Reference. He came with receipts, Greg. He came with receipts.
Hey, hold on. Before you go, Acho, let me just knock out his receipts real quick. Who was this quarterback in Seattle?
Russell Wilson.
Okay, who was this quarterback in Detroit?
I don't know. Who that was? Matthew Stafford?
Who is this quarterback now?
Me and Daniel Jones.
So is it really Golden State fault?
Oh, really? We gonna go there
at that
So
position?
he ain't nobody without a great quarterback. That's what you're saying?
I'm not at all.
That's how you work, Greg? That's how you play?
Give me opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. I had Brett Favre, I had Aaron Rodgers, then I had Christian Ponder. What you want me to do?
Yeah. What you want him to do? I want you to retire and become an announcer because you obviously need somebody else to make you. I thought you could make it up yourself. I don't need nobody else. What I did went on the field.
Not at all. I get it done. I get it done anywhere, anytime. And then when we talk about his wife, don't act like just because there was no Twitter and there was no social media when you were playing.
I have a wife then. Now what?
I'm just saying, don't act like you ain't have family members wanting to say something and you would be able to control it. You can't control what family members say. I've had a situation like that myself. I was on the field playing Green Bay. I'm having a heck of a game. And my sister is tweeting, get him the ball. Y'all should have been doing all this. I had no idea. I come back, they talking about, hey, Greg, what's up with what your sister's saying? As if I'm in communication with her while I'm playing the game. Come on, man, I don't want to hear that. Go ahead, eat him
I didn't know Greg Jennings was a system player, but you learn something new every day.
I'm not.
You didn't do nothing with Christian Ponder?
I did. I put up nothing but stats.
Well, then that's my point. Why you over here defending Golden Tate? He need a Hall of Famer to get some?
Golden Tate what? Golden Tate, not me. I'm defending him because what he did was no problem.
Yeah. That's where we need to go. Come on, man.
I'm looking. Greg did still put up about 800 yards.
That's what I'm saying.
Ponder, okay? Well, so my dog did still put up some numbers, 69 receptions. Okay, I'm not going to hate on my dog. Let's get back to the point, Sal.
What's the point?
Don't try to diminish Joe Judge's idiocy by diminishing Golden Tate. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to diminish Joe Judge's nonsensical behavior by diminishing Golden Tate. Sal, you know this, bro. You got to win the game with dogs. That's how you have to win football. Coaches sometimes think it's about them, but it's not always about the coach. It's truly never about the coach. More often than not, it's about the player. And please stop trying to bring this Bill Belichick culture over. When I was in the league, bro.
Why? It works.
No. Because when I was in the league, I would drive around, and one time I was in a parking lot, I was like, yo, that looks like a Rolls Royce. And what I realized is somebody took the decal emblem off a Rolls Royce and put it on a Chrysler 300. They put it on that Chrysler 300. So the Chrysler looked like a Rolls, but it was just a Chrysler. Joe Judge, take the Bill Belichick decal off because we realize you're not a Rolls Royce, Joe Judge. Right now, you're looking like a Chrysler 300. No knock on no Chrysler 300s, okay? Solid car.
Yeah, it is. That's a knock like a mug.
It's a solid car, but all I'm saying is this, Sal.
What?
Joe Judge talking that game, but what he got to show for it. The fun is in winning.
What?
The fun of sports is in winning. When you're not winning, all that coaching jargon, it means nothing. Right now, Joe Judge has players that are actually trying to play and trying to do something. What's sending Golden Tate home gonna do? Nothing.
Y'all talking about Joe Judge talking? He ain't even say nothing. He just said, send your butt home. Golden Tate the one talking. As soon as he catch a touchdown, which is rare, then he's like, hey, give me the ball more. And then his wife's like, activate, time to log on, my turn. And they all trying to double team the culture. When the culture is like, we're not guaranteeing you wins in the moment. We guaranteeing you wins as you buy into the culture. Just like Bill Belichick. In his first year, he was a 5-11 coach. But y'all don't want him to establish a culture.
Tom Brady.
How did that turn out? How did that turn out?
Guess what? Hall of Fame
Tom Brady barely played in that first game.
I'm with you, Greg.
How about this? How about Bill Walsh? 2-14. How about Jimmy Johnson? 1-15. Build your culture, coach. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers is calling tonight's game a challenge. We'll tell you what the Packers can prove next. I bet Aaron Rodgers' girl ain't gonna be tweeting because he balling. Speak for
tonight on Fox, we've got a rematch of last season's NFC Championship game between the Packers and the 49ers. Both teams will be without key pieces. The Packers will be without running backs Jamal Williams and rookie running back A.J. Dillon, and their top back Aaron Jones is questionable. Green Bay is 5-2, but they're coming off a loss to the last-place Vikings. So, Marcellus, let me know, can the Packers actually prove anything tonight against these maligned 49ers as well?
Yeah, you actually can. Now, look, I know they're maligned. They're a mass unit. They're all beat up. The 49ers, injuries have taken over this team. It's a war of attrition league, though. So no excuses, despite the fact that we know that they're undermanned right now. But if you're the Packers, yeah, I could get something out the way. It'll be cathartic for them to go out there and win, exorcise those demons. You remember last year when they had to play this same San Francisco bunch? Oh, it didn't go so well.
I don't know.
Either time. Matter of fact, their whole West Coast trip, even the Chargers got a piece of them, didn't go so well. So just to see that same color, just to be in that same stadium, and to go out there and get a victory, does something for somebody because, look, they brought the pain last year. And it doesn't look like they're going to be a barrier in terms of their team success this year. 49ers, I doubt, even make the playoffs the way that they are looking in terms of the injuries. But if I'm the Green Bay Packers, let's just get somebody out the way that tried to ride on us last year and took some hits on them. So, yeah, I think it's cathartic.
Man, I think I don't know if everybody knows what cathartic means. So can I please?
Can you please look it up? If you knew what it meant, you wouldn't have to look it up.
Cathartic, providing psychological relief through the expression of strong emotions. For those of you that were lost like me because y'all didn't go to Ivy League schools. That's what Mike Marcellus is saying. Now, I don't think it can prove anything, big bro. I think that they can achieve something. You get a loss, you want to get that loss out your system. They lost to the Vikings, the last place Vikings, the Kirk Cousin-led Vikings, the atrocious this year Vikings. So the Packers need to get a win back into their system. When you lose a game, the best thing for you is to play it. And as soon as you play the next game.
As soon as you finish that game.
As soon as you finish, bro, it's like, can I please play again?
Yeah.
Get that out of my system.
Yeah.
But what can you gain if you beat the 49ers without their defensive players like Bosa and Sherman? They've been gone all season. Quarterback Jimmy G, he's now hurt again. Raheem Mostert gone. Tevin Coleman beat up. Deebo Samuel gone. You're supposed to win that game. Like, the Packers have nothing to gain and a whole lot to lose. Nothing to gain perception-wise. Obviously, in the standings, they have a lot to gain. But perception-wise, you ain't got nothing to gain. So I hope they go in. They're supposed to win the game. But if they don't, I know we're going to lead with it in the following show. If they do win, we'll just be like, yeah, and?
Okay, well, you got to understand, if this is football, man, you're coming too logical. Like, football, like, you come in like, well, this doesn't do anything to affect you and your psyche. Look, this is football, damn it. It's an emotional sport. It's a violent sport. And I grew up in a violent neighborhood, so let me give you some of this illogical behavior that you need to do. See, you grew up in a middle class, upper class, right?
Middle class.
Credit to your parents. I wish I did. I hate when people are like, yeah, I'm down for that. I wish I was up. But my parents were broke. Grow up broke. But I saw broke behavior, too. And guess what? When somebody ride on you, the only thing you got to do is ride back. It's not a conversation of, well, that's not the same guy that did that to you. Where you live? over there, somewhere. Get them all. And that's what's going to happen. We don't
find when somebody rides on you more stuff.
You going to get into your Google again?
I mean, I'm just saying, because you said you weren't going to ride for me, but now you're talking about when somebody rides on you, get them back.
Once again,
you said you weren't a rider.
I'm a bystander in this conversation and that situation. Let me tell you everything I witnessed, never did. Hey, boy, they saw the bottom of my Nikes all the time. I was running from everything. Point being, when somebody does something to you, like the 49ers did to the Packers last year twice, we got to get them back no matter who's wearing that uniform, just for the color that they wearing. And you're getting deep. So stay off Google, brother. I'll help you out in terms of
Hey, you just told on yourself. You said you could afford Nikes. I was at Payless.
Oh,
okay, I don't know.
That's why you had a bigger house.
Okay, that's it.
Gator boots. Coming up, Uncle Jimmy joins us, and he has something to get off his chest about Antonio Brown. That's next. And we split our money on dumb stuff. Before we go, Uncle Jimmy joins us. Already gave our thoughts on Antonio Brown's return, but I hear you have your own take. So go ahead, Unc.
Listen, I'd like to welcome everybody to today's segment of Uncle Jimmy's Dumbass Question of the Day. Okay, without any more further ado, let's get right to it. Shall we, homeboys? Yeah. Today's question is, can the Antonio Brown experiment go wrong? See, let me preface my statement by saying that's a dumbass question. That's like saying, pardon me, but is the rear portion of the pig predominantly pork? That's a dumbass question. Why? That's like me asking you if you think that Emmanuel Acho will ever end up in child support court. Hell no. Acho, that's like me asking you if you think that Marcellus Wiley will ever own a suit that fits him half as good as that suit fits you. Now, let me ask both of y'all a question.
What?
Do either of you think you stand a snowball's chance in hell of making it to the Hall of Fame of the NFL? Hell no.
You're in the double line.
Dumbass question.
That is a double there.